What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Sean Steele Show. There is a whole lot going on, so we're going to get right into it. Steele Chambers, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I feel like a high schooler gossiping right now with everything happening. Sadly, not all of it is football related, but we're here to talk about shit.
Exactly.
So talk about it.
Dude, college football, this has been a wild year. I don't know if it's because we haven't been playing so we can pay more attention to it, but this has been a crazy, crazy year, and it just seems like it's getting crazier. Would you agree with that, Steele?
It feels like it's scripted. I think Joey Galloway put it a good way. It feels like a WWE script.
Exactly. Well, let's start with the first page of that script. And good old Sharon Moore, man. How the mighty have fallen.
Mighty have in the room.
So let me pull this up real quick on my phone. So this is just came out. This is what I just saw. A Michigan staffer, which is going to be the whole thing, believed to be Paige Shiver, disclosed her affair with Sharon Moore with receipts, text messages, and emails at the administration office on Wednesday morning, which resulted in Moore's firing. Once Moore was fired, he told his wife he was going to kill himself and then went to her home, broke into it, and threatened to kill himself in front of her with a knife. So then he got arrested. Steele, you hear all this. It's a sad situation. It is a fucked up situation. But what are your kind of initial thoughts with hearing all this?
I think as a group, of course, Ohio State guys, we hate Michigan. But if you're a college football fan or if you're just a decent human being, then you feel bad for everyone that's involved in the situation. Of course, Moore, he's out of his mind with all this stuff he's going about doing, but he's got a wife. He's got 3 kids. You, of course, feel bad for any staff members that did not know about this, his players. And it's just such a sad situation because they are a blue collar, blue blood, blue chip, whatever program. And there's so much rich history that goes along with that. And this is just such a besmirk or whatever the word is to them. That along with Connor Stallions the past 3 or 4 years, I mean, something's got to change over there as far as who's at the top, how they're going about things, because Michigan is a fantastic program. I want them to be good. That's what makes rivalries in general so awesome and so cool to be a part of. But I just feel bad for everyone that's involved because this is just a sad situation.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Even though we played at Ohio State in that game, we've talked about this deal. There is a respect level between players and programs it's deep. It's a deep respect level. We want them to do good. We want them to be at their best when we play them. And just the past couple of years, it just doesn't seem like they've been heading in the right direction. But with Sharon Moore, man, he's just another classic example of lust. It doesn't matter. The best men throughout human history have fallen victim to lust. So he just has to find a way to control his horniness. He didn't. He's messing around, huge mistake, but he didn't need to go to this extent.
I mean, given his situation, he was born on third base with this job he had. 100%. He was an OC for a couple years. He had no other really job offers lined up for him. And then all of a sudden he's gifted one of the top 5, top 10 positions in all of college football.
Right.
And to think that he wouldn't like just grind his ass off and work to be the best coach possible. Now he's out messing around with all these other girls on staff. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, Sharon Moore always struck me as an interesting guy. First off, when I look at his coaching highlight, I want to go to the Penn State game a couple years ago when Coach Harbaugh was suspended, I think. And you remember he ran the ball like 30 straight times in the second half. It was at Penn State. I mean, that was one of the best performances ever. And I felt like that kind of solidified him as the next man up. But since he's taken over the job, he's kind of had this ego to him, this arrogant level that I've noticed, where it's just like he doesn't really seem to have that grit, that motivation, kind of fire to him. He just seems like too cool for school. He's always seemed like that since he's been there. Would you agree with that, Steele?
A little bit, and that should definitely be kind of the thought process going into hiring the next coach. You want someone that's going to align with what your university believes in and what they thrive on. And that's just a gritty, hardworking guy that's going to come in every day, just work his ass off and compete to be the best team and the best head coach in the entire college football scenery. And that's just, I feel like that wasn't what he was. He was so focused on some of like the corny stuff, like what he had on, like the worker jacket, blue collar jacket, like
union jacket.
Don't like be about it. Don't go around saying, oh, this is going to look cool, like in front of all the media. Just do it behind closed doors and just be real about it. And I feel like that's not who he was.
Right now, so I never felt like he was a long-term answer to begin with, even when he became the head coach. And it seems like you didn't feel that way. Now that brings up the question: what do they do next? First off, they got to keep that core group of young guys together. They got to keep the recruiting class intact. They got to get a coach as quick as possible. Now, do they bring in a coach who's blue collar, kind of tough? Fits the Michigan brand of football, or do they bring in kind of an offensive guru? Not saying Lincoln Riley, but a guy like Lincoln Riley who can really tap into Bryce Underwood and build around them. What direction would you go if you were the Michigan Wolverines, Steele?
No matter what it is, you have to do it quick because you're in dire need of everything. But before I even get to head coaches, I would really be focused on position coaches.
Right.
As a player, usually you're more connected with your position coach than your head coach. Yep. You spend more time with them. Usually they're the guy that's recruiting you. So I'm going after all their position coaches. I am reassuring them that we're going to get things back on track. It might be one of those things where you might be throwing out a little extra money at them. Same with the players. And you got to keep those position coaches because they're going to help you keep all your players that you currently have on retainer. And then just the amount of people they're probably going out and recruiting right now is probably massive. So if you lose one of those guys, you're losing that entire base that they've kind of set. So I'm going for them. And then I'm throwing a little money at players to help them stay there. And then for head coaches, it's hard, but I would go with maybe like a Clark Lee.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Who would you think for coaches?
Well, what I've been hearing, and it's blowing my mind, and hopefully you've heard this, and I want to get your reaction on it. Kalen DeBoer is the favorite to get this job, which makes absolutely no sense to me. CBS put it out there, I believe it was. One of the big ones put it out there that he was the betting favorite to be the next head coach for Michigan Wolverines. And I'm kind of tired of this narrative.
I saw something from who was it? It was Joel Klatt. His whole argument was, he mentioned him. He mentioned guys like Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning. His whole argument was, you're Michigan. You have that brand. So make those guys say no to you. So, of course, you go out there, you ask him, like the Marcus Freemans of the world. Right. You ask them, like, hey, we're Michigan. We're going to give you an opportunity to come coach here and basically force them to say no to you, which it might come off as a little bit desperate, but at the end of the day, he is kind of right. Like, that's one of the top positions in all of college football. Why not at least try for some of those big guys?
No, I agree. You got to try. I mean, you're Michigan. This is and you're in a desperate situation. Who you pick next you can go one of two ways. This program's either going to go down burning and fire for the next couple of years, or they're going to save it, turn around quick, and the future might even be brighter than it once was with Sharon Moore at the helm. There's two possibilities, and there is a great chance that this does work out for them because, I thought he was going to be on the hot seat anyway. I didn't see him as a long-term option. I didn't like how he was developing Bryce Underwood. So I was all for them getting a fresh start, bringing somebody who can kind of jumpstart and kick that program, especially offensively, because they've been so atrocious offensively.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
But with the Kalen DeBoer situation, it's like I understand him taking the shot, but I can't understand the fan base, realistically jumping on that because Alabama is Alabama. He was just in the SEC title. I know he's not quite up to the championship standard there, but I'm speaking to Alabama fans and I'm speaking to Michigan fans. I don't understand why Alabama fans are so crazy on this guy from the time he got there. He was just in the SEC championship. Give him one more year to see he's in the college football playoffs. Let's see what he does from there. He's at Alabama. So on the flip side, Michigan, he's at Alabama. I don't see him leaving a program like that. Is Michigan a better job than Alabama still?
Yeah, why is the DeBoer thing getting you so heated? Jesus.
Because I've had a lot of I've had a lot of side chats about this, and it's just it makes no sense to me because he's at Alabama, which is everybody wants to be the coach at Alabama.
Yeah, but what you hit on is right. This could end up in a couple ways. First, it's going to be so hard to come back from this because I see whoever is giving out this punishment, they might right their wrongs from the whole Connor Stallion situation where they basically got slapped on the wrist. Right. And then after this comes out, if some stuff happens where maybe one of their staff members knew about this or there's sliding it under the rug like a lot of people think they're doing and waiting to see if they maybe beat Ohio State and got in the playoffs, then this could absolutely blow up. But let's say this doesn't happen. They go out, they get a fantastic coach. They might be in a better situation internally. To the outside world, still looks like a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
But you're getting a guy who is going to end up bleeding freaking maize and yellow. I'm forgetting the colors. Jesus.
Maize and gold.
God, yeah, maize and gold. He's going to end up just making your team a lot better, and it could work out.
Steele, you bring up a good point because remember, before anything came out, all we knew it was an inappropriate relationship. I texted you and said they could just be using this as an excuse to get rid of him. Now, I didn't know how deep it was. I didn't know all the other stuff going into it. But I'm like, if he was winning, if he beat Ohio State, if his team was in the Big Ten championship, if his team was in the college football playoffs, I'm not too sure we would have ever heard about this.
No, it might never come to the light of day. But who knows? We're not even 24 hours from whenever this news officially dropped. So stuff's going to be coming out the next week, 2 weeks, whatever. But I'm more trying to think positive. I'm thinking about who's about to be the next coach in Michigan. Another guy I had written on here, Kenny Dillingham from Arizona State.
Yes, I got that on
I think that would be a fantastic hire. You saw what he did with Arizona State and Cam Scadaboo and all those guys last year, finally winning themselves a championship. He just seems like a high energy guy that Michigan could really use as their.
And he's the type of coach that seems, no disrespect to Arizona State, they're a great program, but in today's day and age, he does seem like a coach who really deserves a shot with one of these blue blood programs. So I had him written down. I had Jed Fish from Washington written down. I'm not a big fan on his just yet. And then my oddball, only because Portnoy's been recruiting the shit out of him. Gruden, and then you saw the thing with, I guess, his high school photo or whenever it was that his dream job was to become the Michigan head coach. And who knows? I mean, he's close friends with Portnoy. He's on all this stuff. Maybe Portnoy can swing him. So I put him as an outside shot. And so that's kind of who I have. But Dillingham to Michigan, that would be interesting.
That would be, dude. Back with Gruden, if he goes out there and he gets this Michigan job, Bryce Underwood might become the Heisman favorite immediately.
Steele, I'm not going to lie to you.
I would be terrified if they went out and got him.
I'm not going to lie to you, Steele. If Gruden went to Michigan, I would be a fan. I'd be a fan of him. I don't care what you fucking say. I'm not being a fan of Michigan. But that's the one guy. Again, how long has he been out of the coaching game? Like forever? Oh, yeah, wow.
But I'm sure he could flip that switch and he'd be right back to his old ways.
He'd be right back to his old ways. Quick. Now, Steele, before we move on, have you seen, since we're kind of on this weird track right now, this brings up a point, though. Lane Kiffin, have you seen all the stuff that's been coming out about him messing around with these girls or no?
That's been out.
I know, but that's my point. Lane Kiffin was winning at Ole Miss, and it's like pretty obvious that he's been messing around with all different types of students, different types of.
Well, this is a staff member. That's what makes it so crazy. Plus, I mean, Kiffin did have a wife and kids. Jeez.
Exactly. So it's just like, but Kiffin was winning. I'm telling you right now, if Sharon Moore was winning in the Big Ten championship, I don't think you ever want to heard of this. But the bottom line is, you made a bad mistake. That doesn't define you. But the reaction you had to that bad mistake is what got him ultimately probably burnt for the rest of his coaching career. He could have bounced back maybe from the inappropriate relationship, but I don't know if he bounces back after going in the threat.
Well, let me introduce this because I know. Let's throw away all that. Let's get to what this week is all about.
Okay.
And I'm going to introduce it. I'm going to let you hit on it first because I know you have such a connection with this game.
Okay.
Saturday, 3 p.m., we have America's game over in Maryland, your home state.
Exactly.
You got the Army-Navy game. Something that it gets its own weekend, which I absolutely love. There's so much rich history, just the football side and, of course, the military side. So, Bryson, whenever you hear Army-Navy game, what does that mean to you? Because I know it means a lot.
First off, it makes the hair on my arm stand up. It really does. Because when I was little, Army-Navy, they switch the location. Sometimes it's in Philly. Sometimes it's at the Commander Stadium. Other times at M&T Bank. So anytime it was at M&T Bank, my dad would take me to the game. And the tailgating, they have all the trucks set up. They have, push-up competitions. They have pull-up competitions. They have the tanks pulled up from Army. Then the Inner Harbor is right there. They have all the Navy ships pulled up, the historic aircraft carriers. So just walking around on the outside for the tailgate is unbelievable. But then when you go inside the stadium, the energy, you got all the cadets, you got all the midshipmen, just it's rocking. They say the prayer before the game, which you don't really see that anywhere, which I loved, you know me. And then the anthem, bro, the national anthem hits so hard. Like it hits so hard. I mean, now I was little, but we played in Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, USC. I truly think Army Navy is as good as it gets, right at the top, if not the top. So, Steele, I'm fired up for this one. And the midshipmen opening up as 6.5-point favorites this year.
Well, we'll get to the football later, but yeah, like you said, I mean, this is a game unlike any other, and it's definitely on my bucket list. I'm going to get to that game within the next few years. I'm going to make sure that happens.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, just the fact it gets its own weekend, it's after all the championship games, the playoff selection, all the extracurricular stuff we're dealing with right now. And then you kind of just get to focus on what's important, and that's football in America.
Yeah, football in America, man.
And I mean, it fires me up. Just my quick memory of it. I remember watching like in 2016, I think it was, and they had a 9/11 tribute. And there was this big video. It basically showed all the players talking about what that event meant to them and how it impacted them. It had President Bush going into the locker room talking about them. And then it got to the national anthem part where you're seeing a bunch of dudes crying, and it just makes it so much realer because a lot of these guys, it's their last year playing, and they're about to trade in that football uniform for that real military uniform. And they're about to go out. They're about to be protecting our country. And it's surreal to think about just how these football players doing exactly what we do, putting in all that extra work. On top of that, they're also trained to be the best at what they do, and that's protecting us. And that's just, I'm getting a little chilly thinking about it. I've got some freaking goose pimples on my arm, but it's unreal.
No, Steele, and you bring up another good point because I can't imagine college football is hard enough. College football is very hard. All the training, all the meetings, school is very hard. But when you go to West Point, when you go to the Naval Academy, first off, it's like Ivy League schools basically. Then you have the college football stuff, which is, as I said, as hard as it gets. And then you throw on top, on a weekend, they're probably shipping you off for some training in the middle of the woods, in the middle of the cold. You're doing all the boot camp or whatever they're doing over there. I mean, it's just very, very impressive. And those guys are the most impressive people. Naval Academy people, I know a lot of them, being in Maryland, right down the street in Annapolis, and the Army guys. Your sister, Steele, West Point soldier.
Quick story about her. A couple years ago, whenever she got done with like their little prep school, she was complaining that there was this girl that was ahead of her in the standing. She's like top of her class, and she couldn't get over this girl. She'd been trained to be a Black Hawk, to fly around Black Hawks, and just an overall badass. And she could not get over that hump that was her. Fast forward to about a week ago, I found out that's Jacob Rodriguez's girlfriend.
Yeah,
so it turns out it was that badass that's all over freaking national TV being Rodriguez's girlfriend that my sister couldn't get over. So that just shows the kind of women and men that are over there.
Yeah, so your sister was second behind Rodriguez's.
I think she was third, but she was just complaining because her being number one was like she was untouchable.
Right.
Like
but she's a little bit older than your sister, right?
Oh yeah, she was older, but I don't remember exactly what it was. It was just they had some kind of rankings with all the girls that went to West Point, and she was tippy top. Is
your sister going to the game this year?
Oh yeah, dude, she's going to be like kind of in the special section.
Really?
What's that? She's like a few seats over from the Secretary of Defense. She's in the same area as Trump. Like she's not allowed to get up. She can't go to the bathroom or anything. She has to stay there for like security reasons.
I'm telling everybody watching this right now, Steele Chambers, his sister, is so much more impressive than him. It's not even funny.
I wish I could freaking disagree with you, man. I mean, shit.
Dude, she's so much more impressive than pretty much everybody I know. The stories you tell me, I mean, that girl is unbelievable. The Chambers blood is strong, man. I'll give you that. The Chambers blood is very, very strong.
Yeah, I mean, let's try to get to the football.
Let's do it.
Or at least try. I'm going to be talking about other shit. Yeah. But have you seen the jerseys and the helmet?
I saw the Naval Academy helmets. The ships is
4 hours. 4 hours for every helmet.
What's that?
It takes 4 hours to make a single helmet.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm gonna pull it up right here. Hold on, so I can get a look at it.
Unreal.
2025. No, I saw that. They're hand painted every year, aren't they?
I'm pretty sure, but something about this one, I really like the ship on their helmet.
Yeah, and the kind of bronze. Like I usually like the army uniforms better, but
I go back and forth. It varies every single year. I think the one I liked the most, I think Army had like some kind of sandstorm one a few years back. I really liked.
Yeah, the sandstorm was nice. The sandstorm was nice. You remember when they played in the snow, like the big time snow game? It was up in Philly.
What do you remember? What year it was?
I don't remember, bro.
The one I remember watching one game with you. That was all of us at the bar house with Diego
Fago.
Yeah, game of his life, had the accidental fake punt.
Yes, that was
one of the most fun games I've ever watched.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. I actually forgot about that. Still, but let's kind of dive into this a little bit. Navy 6.5-point favorites, over under 38.5 points, and now 2 quarterbacks. Tell me if these aren't the perfect names. Cale Helms and Blake Horvath.
Yep,
and they're both 1,000-yard rushers.
Beautiful.
Are you surprised by that?
Absolutely not. No, that's as American as it gets, and I love it. But as far as those quarterbacks, I think Blake Horvath kind of has the edge on him.
Yeah.
Both have 1,000 yards, but he's probably has, I think, 600 more yards in the air.
Yeah,
so
he does.
They're a little more efficient. They both kind of modernized the triple option, which I wish they were still both under center. That's how I wish it was. But you got to change with the times, and they did.
Exactly.
But Navy definitely had a better season as far as record goes. But Army, even though they started off slow, they've won, I think, 7 of their last 6 or 5 games. Like 6 of their last 7 games or so. So they're looking solid. It's really hard to kind of dissect these teams because they do the same stuff over and over and over again. It's one of those things where if you're on the other side and you're on your assignments and you're doing everything right, then you'll stop them. But that's so much easier to say that than actually go out and do it. So I'm just sitting back and waiting to see what happens in this game.
Right. No, I feel you. I was feeling Navy the whole time. I like what they did against USF, but then I started looking at the schedules. I started looking at how Army's been playing recently, and I'm going with Army in this one, bro. I'm going with Army. This is one of those games where every time they get together, it's kind of you don't know what's going to happen. I usually always go Navy, like I said, Annapolis being right down the street, but I'm going with Army. I'm going with the Black Knights for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Navy, they've been giving up almost 30 points a game, but they're just finding ways to win. They have, of course, the better losses with Notre Dame and then who was it, North Texas. But I'm always going to go Army. Sister goes to West Point, so go Army, beat Navy.
Okay, we're on the same train this time. We're on the same train this time. I should have went with Navy with it, but that's okay. We're gonna jump on the same train. That's fun. All right, Steele, let's move on from this one because there is some bowl games going on. There is some bowl games. It's bowl game season, but I do have a question for you, Steele.
Yeah.
Are bowl games dead?
I think they are.
You think they're dead?
Yeah, because it started off with Notre Dame and them declining their bowl invitation. And as much as we don't agree with it, it makes sense because there should have been a playoff team, didn't get into the playoffs, and they're going about it their own way. But then some of these other teams that are declining, like Kansas State, Iowa State, Baylor, Rutgers, Florida State, Auburn, Kansas, Temple, UCF. I mean, I think it was kind of one of those snowball effects where once it happened for that first team, everyone sort of just hopped on that wagon. And collectively, as a group, people are saying, we don't care about these bowl games. Everyone's going to be focused on the playoffs anyways. Maybe why risk hurting our players who might have NFL aspirations?
Right.
Or why go through that extra month of preparation with your own team whenever you could be focusing outwards at maybe recruiting and the transfer portal?
Right.
It's an interesting situation. Kind of saw it coming once the playoffs officially happened and they had all the New Year's 6 games in that playoff, everything. But bowl season's dead.
I know. It's sad because like we talked about, Steele, I agree, it's dead. But like I talked about, some of the best memories of my life and of your lives are playing in those bowl games. And this whole thing started going downhill a couple years ago. Christian McCaffrey sits out the bowl game, Next thing you know, players are sitting out the bowl game, and now it's evolved to teams sitting out the bowl game. And you're right. Unfortunately, with today's day and age in football, it gets in the way more than it's an enjoyment for these coaches and these guys.
I will say we do have a different view of it because even if we didn't get in the playoffs, where'd we go? We went to the Rose Bowl.
Vegas Bowl.
It would be different if we went to one of those New Year's Six games, and there's still so much history that goes along with it. Now that all those games are taken up in the playoffs, and you're fighting for, I love the Pop-Tart Bowl, but the Pop-Tart Bowl, there might be teams like Notre Dame, of course, that see that and they just don't respect it as much as going to the Cotton Bowl or going to the Fiesta Bowl. So they're just going to decline it. So we are kind of in different situations than everyone else currently right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, I'm kind of a little bit different, though, because I went to the Rose Bowl with you. But when I was at USC, I went to the Holiday Bowl and I went to the Vegas Bowl. Those aren't New Year's Six games. And those two bowl games, Steele, unbelievable. We went on an aircraft carrier for the Holiday Bowl, messing around with a bunch of freaking badasses on the aircraft carrier. Vegas Bowl, we're in that casino every night gambling, just getting after it, getting after, go out there, beat Texas A&M. So those bowl games were still a lot of fun. And at the time, we're like, dang, I don't want to go to the Holiday Bowl. I don't want to go to the Vegas Bowl. I'd rather just go home or whatever. But then once you get into it, it's just a great memory for the players all around. But at the end of the day, with today's day and age of football, with the calendar, with the schedule, these coaches got to turn the page as quickly as possible to get to recruiting, to get to, the transfer portal and all that stuff. And these players, the season's getting longer and everything. So I don't, it's dead. I think we got a year or two left max of bowl games outside the playoffs.
And I'm curious how much of it is being put in the players' hands. Because we had that one video where we're talking about should Notre Dame skip the bowl game or should they play in it? And a bunch of people were saying that the players voted on this.
I know. And you know what? I'm not buying that because there's no way, maybe, but there's no way an AD, president of the school, and the head coach is letting us, the players, make a decision of that magnitude. Steele?
Even if they are, that's very telling about your culture. Because if you don't have a bunch of dudes that want to go out there, play one last game with each other and ultimately win and just compete,
right?
And I'm going to be questioning just your culture in general.
Yeah, if you got players who are deciding they don't want to play a game, that's weird.
It might be different. Like at Ohio State, you would of course have some guys sitting out, like the Chase Youngs or the Marvin Harrisons. I get that you're going to be a top 3 pick.
Right.
Like even if we didn't go to a New Year's Six, and we went to some other different bowl, just based on the guys we had there and the culture Ryan Day had, I have no doubt that we would play in it.
1,000%. We're playing in that bowl game. If the players had an opportunity on the teams I've been a part of to play in an extra game, we would play in that extra game. So I find it very hard to believe that the Notre Dame players were the sole reason and the sole decision makers of not wanting to play in that bowl game.
Again, maybe it's different with the 12-team playoffs. We never had a year of that, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, that is true. That is true. Now let's move on to Notre Dame. We'll keep on the Notre Dame train.
Okay.
I've been seeing all this crazy stuff going on. We hit on first off, apparently they have some clause that we talked about on the last show. If they're a top 12 team, they're getting in. Now, because of that, all these other schools are seeing this and being like, wait a minute. I don't want to play Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame's getting all this preferential treatment. I don't like how they're handling not going to the college football playoffs. There's other teams who are in the same boat who are acting in a way more professional, classy way. Let's freeze our game. Steele, what do you think with that?
It's interesting. I mean, Notre Dame, they bring up a lot of solid points. Between everything with going on with the playoffs, it's a shitty situation, but maybe you should get in a conference. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, of course, how they were talking about whenever we go to an ACC site, those games tend to sell out like 95% of the time. And whenever we don't, it only sells out a quarter of the time. Right. That's all true, but that's not information that you push out there and like flaunt to everyone. Yeah. Like you just got to kind of be a better person about that. Like it might be true, but you got to have a little bit of respect, and they are just lacking respect completely.
I mean, they've been ragging the ACC.
I know, and those are the teams you're playing, and I'm pretty sure they can do whatever they want with their schedule.
Yeah, exactly. And the ACC is giving them the opportunity to play their teams.
Exactly.
They got to.
If you want, you can. I'm pretty sure any other team in the entire country. Oh, Notre Dame wants to play us. You know how much money that's going to bring in? Yeah, right. We'll schedule them. But they decide they stick with the ACC. They're virtually an ACC team without having a title. Right. But then you go shit on them. Like that makes no sense.
That's like biting the hand that feeds you, man. That's
going into someone's house and then just having nothing but complaints.
Exactly. So Notre Dame's got to figure it out. I'm hating how they're handling this whole thing. I understand they should have been in the playoffs. I believe that, Steele. I think you believe that. They didn't get in. Unacceptable. But also, you can't be behaving and acting like you run the whole thing because there's always a bigger fish in the pond. But Steele, I do have another thing for you. Did you see that Coach Freeman is in deep talks with the New York Giants? Did you hear about this?
You serious?
Yes, deep talks with the New York Giants. Like it's pretty close. Let me hold on. Stay right there.
In like ink to paper.
Freeman Giants. Like it's very close. Let me see this.
That's an interesting.
Marcus Freeman to the New York Giants. Buzz is getting too loud to ignore. Giants going all in on Marcus Freeman. He is now favored for the New York Giants job.
So you're telling me there's a chance that now the Notre Dame job opens up?
There is a chance. There is a slight chance. I hope he stays. I want him to stay. I don't know how he do as an NFL coach.
I would stay. That's Notre Dame. And
I know it's Notre Dame.
As much shit as they've been getting the last 2 weeks or so, like he's done a really good job there. They were in the national championship last year.
They love him. He's done a phenomenal job. I love him. I mean,
dude, an Ohio State guy.
Yeah, like, big time Ohio State guy.
Dude, handsome.
And all right, still.
It's okay to say that. Everyone knows it.
Okay, it is true.
Either way, he's a hell of a coach, and being the New York Giants coach, that would be great. But me personally, I like college football more.
Right.
And I feel like that would just be a cooler spot to be in, and honestly a better spot. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to see if I would stay or leave. I think I would go take the New York Giants. I mean, that's the New York Giants deal. Yes, it's Notre Dame, but that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. The New York Giants.
Now, we're different. The big reason for me as far as not taking that is living in New York.
All right.
I cannot live in New York.
No, see, I can get down in the city a little bit.
I cannot get down in cities.
I know you can, but I can thrive. I can thrive in them just a little bit. But every now and then I'm ready to get on out. Get on. All right, Steele. Let's move on to the final segment. Actually, one more quick thing I want to hit. I meant to bring this up earlier. Jimmy Knowles heading down to Knoxville, Tennessee. Right? That's Knoxville, University of Tennessee. And their fans aren't happy. Their fan base, I've been seeing a lot of stuff. The fan base is like the process. His system takes too long to learn. They've been ragging on him. He's getting a lot of hate. And I just wanted you to address that, being that you were with Jimmy Knowles for 3 years or 2 years.
I haven't heard those concerns, but system taking a little too long to learn. That is somewhat true. But if you want to try to look at it from a long-term point of view, it will work. It is a great defensive scheme. I know Penn State, they could not look at it through a long view lens or whatever, and they just cut them or whatever they did with them.
Right.
And I mean, Tennessee, your defense is terrible. You should look at this as a positive, as someone who understands how defenses work. It might be somewhat of a complicated system, but you got to learn a little bit. You got to learn how a defense works first if you want to become a good defense. And that's exactly what he brings to the table. And it might take a year or two before you guys really start seeing results, but that's part of the process.
Yeah.
So if I'm Tennessee, I would be happy. But of course, I'm biased because I was with him for 2 years.
Exactly.
And then from Coach Knowles' standpoint, it's like he's really just kind of moving down the totem pole.
Yeah,
I mean, you were the DC at Ohio State 2 years ago, winning a national championship. Now, of course, Tennessee, great program, but they haven't won a national championship since when?
it's been a while. It's been a while. And my thing with Tennessee is, listen, beggars can't be choosers. Your defense has been absolutely atrocious. You're lucky you got Jim Knowles. You are very lucky that Jim Knowles is going to be there, and I know he's going to do a fantastic job. Penn State was a shit show all around. It was a hard situation. So Jim Knowles, I like to see him in the SEC. Hopefully, smoking a cigar when they play Alabama, he got a chance to smoke a victory cigar. You know he'll love it.
Yeah, smoke it out back on the river.
Exactly. He's going to be living life down there. He's going to be very positive. Okay, Steele, let's move on to this college football playoff bracket. And I got a little bit of a game for you. Do you want to hit on stuff first, or do you want to get into this game?
No, give me the game, and then we'll hit on stuff.
Okay. So you're going to pick from the 12-team field. You're going to pick a head coach. You're going to pick a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to pick a skill position, wide receiver, or a tight end, a running back, and then you're going to pick one defensive player and one defensive unit.
Okay, and I'm guessing they have to all be from different schools.
They can be whatever you want, but we can't use the same one.
We're going to go back and forth on this?
We'll go back and forth on it.
Okay, are you letting me start?
Yeah, so hold on, let me write this down. So coach, quarterback,
yep,
offensive skill,
yep,
running back,
yep,
defensive player,
yep,
and then defensive unit.
Yep.
All right, go ahead. You can make the first pick.
Give me the Buckeyes defense.
All right, so Steele's going with the Buckeyes defense. Steele, Buckeyes.
Defense wins championships.
I'm going to go with the Oklahoma Sooners defense. Boomer Sooner. 100% Boomer Sooner.
Okay, defense for defense, I see.
Yeah, defense for defense.
All right, cool. Okay. Watch this. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Give me Gunnar Stockton as my quarterback.
Okay, I like that. That is a strong.
Dude, he is the only one with any playoff experience that is in the playoffs right now.
That is a good pick.
That's huge.
I like Gunnar Stockton. He might be the best one in there. I like Gunnar Stockton. Okay.
Plus, I like the kind of dude he is, and I want him leading my team. So give me Gunnar Stockton.
All right, Gunnar Stockton. Okay, I'm going to go with defensive player, Arvell Reese.
Oh, okay, cool.
Arvell Reese.
Cool.
Okay, go ahead.
Give me Jacob Rodriguez.
Oh, my God.
We're going to have the nastiest linebacker room of all time.
Okay, J-Rod. All right, now I got to go with a quarterback here. I got to go with a quarterback. Let's go with thinking cool, calm, and collected. Cool, calm, and collected.
Oh, I know who you're going with. I know who you're going with right now.
Man, there's something about still when I play against a team and do well, I like the team. When I play against a certain player and he does well, but I also do well against him, I earn respect for him. So I played against this guy. I've earned a lot of respect for him. He's been balling out. I think he should be the Heisman winner. Give me Fernando Mendoza from the Indiana Hoosiers.
I thought you were going to go with Dante Moore.
I was going to, but then because cool, calm, and collected, man. Dante Moore is as cool, calm, and collected as it gets. Okay, I'm going to go with Mendoza, though. I'm going to go with Mendoza.
Okay. God, I'm trying not to throw a lot of repeats out because that's just lazy. I am going to go with who do I want? No, I'm going to wait on head coaches because there's like 5 I would love to have.
Right.
Let me go for running back. Oh my God. What to choose? Okay, I'm gonna think on running back a little later. Give me Jeremiah Smith as my skill player.
Okay, Jeremiah Smith is unbelievable. Let me write that down.
Let me look at some rankings.
All right, I'm going to go with at the running back position. This guy, actually, I'm going with offensive skill. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Kenyon Sadiq, Oregon tight end.
Dude.
Sadiq, all the way. Give me Sadiq.
Dude.
My offensive skill.
That's good. That's a good pull out of you, bud.
Sadiq, yeah, that just popped in my head right there. I was going to pick somebody else from Oregon, but I'm like, I got to go with Sadiq.
All right, well, I'm going to get his head coach. I'm going to get Dan Lanning.
Oh, my goodness. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, so let me think. Yeah, I don't want to do a lot of repeats either. Let's go.
Is there someone I'm missing?
I know. I feel like I'm missing somebody as well.
I'm going through all the running backs in my head, and I cannot put a stamp on any of them if I want them or not.
Man, let's think about – oh, dude, my head coach, Steele. Come on. I've been on this guy.
I figured you'd go with Siggy.
No. Give me Kirby
geez.
Smart.
Kirby.
Kirby Smart. All right, perfect. I love this.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Running back, Kawan Lacey.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know why Ole Miss was not coming up in my head. Holy hell.
Yeah, Ole Miss. That's what I was going to take Kawan Lacey, so now I got to think. Definitely not going with anybody from Oklahoma. Definitely not going with Alabama. I'm definitely going with.
I mean, if Notre Dame got in here, Jeremiah Love.
That'd be a lock.
My number one pick.
That would be a lock. Shoot, dude. I got to look at these fields again, man.
I see.
I would go with I'm trying to stay away from repeats though.
Yeah, I only wanted to repeat once.
Okay, let's see. Oklahoma, Arvell, Mendoza. Okay, I am going to repeat once. I've loved this guy, especially how he's been playing down the stretch. Noah Whittington, Oregon running back.
Okay, that's solid.
Okay, Steele, I do have one more for you, okay?
Yep.
Your game, it can be a first round game or like a hypothetical matchup that you're looking forward to the most.
Georgia, Ohio State. I think that will produce the national championship winner.
Okay, I'm going out of all the games. I'm going to give two. I know I said one. I'm going to give two. First off, the U against Texas A&M. I love Texas A&M, but I'm really pulling for the U. And I am dying for an Ohio State versus Miami matchup. That's the game I want to see more than anything. Ohio State versus Miami matchup.
Okay, another quick. Do you have the playoff thing in front of you?
I can pull it up.
Yeah, pull it up. My question to you is, who do you think has the easiest and who has the hardest path?
Who do I think has the easiest and who do I think has the hardest path? Okay, so I would definitely want to be at the top of the bracket. That's James Madison, Oregon, Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, and Indiana. I would definitely want to be in that part of the bracket because I do not want to play Georgia. I do not want to play Ohio State.
Yes.
I want to stay away from – I like my chances against everybody else. Georgia and Ohio State, I don't – and with Indiana losing their defensive end, which is very, very unfortunate.
That's tough.
They're a very talented team. I just don't know about the depth. So if I could pick any team, I would want to be the Oregon Ducks, man.
There you go.
I would want to be the Oregon Ducks.
They're they're going to go against James Madison, ass whipping.
W.
You have the worst of the four horsemen, Texas Tech, even though their defense is fantastic. That's going to be a really good game, but it's the best out of all the situations. And then go against Indiana, a team you've already played already. You have film on them. You understand how they operate. And then you're going to the national championship. So I love that spot for him. And again, we talked about all year that 5 spot is very coveted, and you see why.
And then the toughest would be either Miami or Texas A&M. That's going to be a barn burner to start with. Then you got to go play the juggernauts of Ohio State, and then if you win that, you're playing probably Georgia. That is going to be a tough. Whoever comes out of that side of the bracket is going to be.
I would say again, of course, I want Ohio State to win, but a cool story I feel like was just Miami barely getting in. I think they have the toughest road to get to that last game because they're playing at Kyle Field.
Yeah.
So they win that. They win against Ohio State. They win against probably Georgia.
Right.
And then they get to go home in Miami and compete for a national championship. The way this season's gone, how it's been scripted, I feel like that's a pretty fun script.
It would be a fun story if Miami got in there and really made some noise. Listen, they can do it. They're good on the line of scrimmage. Got some good skill players, Daniels and Tony. Run back's good. It's going to be Beck being can Beck be consistent for 4 straight football games? Can the kid be consistent for 4 straight football games? Steele, can he?
I think I sold Miami stock like a couple months ago. I might have to buy back in just in case, but I don't know if he can.
I've been buying up all the Miami stock recently. All the Miami stock.
Hopefully that shit doesn't tank.
It's not going to. It's not going
to. Everyone. One thing about Texas A&M, even though they lost against a good Texas team, and no one has talked about them whatsoever. In all the projections, they never get it past Ohio State. Meanwhile, Miami, they barely got in by the skin of their teeth, and now there's a lot of projections where they beat Ohio State, they beat Georgia.
Yeah.
So maybe Texas Tech has a little bit something to say because no one's been talking about them. They've got Mike Elko, fantastic coach. They got what could have been a Heisman contender at quarterback, fantastic receivers, and all right defense. That's probably my favorite game to start it off.
No, that's going to be phenomenal. Steele, no, I just want to say I'm sorry about Jacob Rodriguez, man. I'm sorry about Jacob Rodriguez. I know I wanted to see him in New York, but I know as a linebacker yourself, you're really, really dying to see him in there.
No, first of all, he seems like a great dude. I wish I could be friends with him. But just from a defensive point of view, like let's get someone there.
Yeah.
And as a linebacker, 114 or something tackles and then 11 turnovers.
It's unbelievable. The forced fumbles alone should get him in there. I mean, that is ridiculous.
Maybe because he had, I think, 7 or 8 forced fumbles. He only recovered maybe 3 or 4 of them.
Okay.
Maybe that's why. But either way, he's had a fantastic year. He's on a top 4 team. He's won a championship. He's the motor of that defense. Maybe if he had a performance like Ben Roberts did for the Big 12, I think
then he would have been in. Then he would have been in. 2 picks. That was nasty. Steele, let me ask you this. I've been hearing a lot of people say this Heisman race sucks. The talent or whatever, the stats, whatever, they suck compared to past years. What do you say about this year's Heisman class? Did you like the race? Did you think it was good, or did you think it was shitty?
I wouldn't say shitty, just a tad bit underwhelming, even though all the guys that are going to New York, fantastic players. But they just weren't put in situations where they had to really put the team on their back.
Right.
Because you've got Mendoza, great year. The numbers don't show like some guys in the past, like Bo Nix. He had over 4,000 yards or something. He beat him out by almost 12,000 yards or so, but he has a great defense. He's got a great supporting cast around him. The run game's there. And then you can look at Julian Sayin. He really had to ease into this season because it was his first year as a starter. And then, of course, you've got their defense. You've got all those weapons around him that might kind of take a lot of the credit. And then Jeremiah Love, he's Jeremiah Love. He deserves to be there, especially as a running back. I love to see that. And then Pavia, he's got video game numbers, and he's kind of not the face of college football, but he's been a prominent figure and just kind of an in-your-face guy. So I could see that.
Yeah.
But I would say a tad bit underwhelming just based on stats and what we've seen in years past. But either way, these guys are going to New York. They're competing for a Heisman. They should all be insanely proud of themselves.
Yeah. I mean, I really liked it. I like this year's Heisman race. I really liked it. You didn't know who was getting it. It's been close. It's been competitive the whole year. It's been this guy's been the favorite. That guy's been the favorite. And I just don't think you're going to see much of those video game like Joe Burrow type numbers anymore because the game has changed and it's really shifted back to kind of a defensive, run the ball first, kind of win the physicality battle era, in my opinion. I really feel like that the game has changed. You're not going to see those Heisman-like numbers. So I really like this Heisman class. Mendoza is a phenomenal player, saying he did a great job in the system. He really managed well, broke the completion percentage record. Love, he was a highlight reel. And then Pavia, I mean, I don't like the guy, but the guy deserves to be in New York. And then I just wish Rodriguez could have got in there. I thought it was a great Heisman race, and it's been a great great year to watch it.
Yeah, but look at the teams that are in the playoffs. Of course, you've got Ohio State and Oklahoma. I think those are the top two defenses, maybe Texas Tech even. You got all three of those defenses. You saw how Indiana played against Ohio State.
Yeah, Indiana's defense too.
That's a fantastic unit. Georgia, people are talking about them now because the defense turned it on, so that's why they're getting so much buzz.
Right.
And you've got Oregon. They've been all right. And then just all these solid defenses are the reason that these teams are in the playoffs. So I would expect in a year where defense was really dominant that at least the best defensive player could have made it. And that was Jacob Rodriguez.
No, that's right, man. That's a good point. I'm going to clip that right there, Steele, because that was a good one, man. But listen, I don't have anything else for us today. Steele, do you have anything else for us?
I mean, not really. I've got a game if you want to do it and make it another video.
What kind of game? How long?
I mean, it's December. It's getting to the new year. I was going to say we list our top 10 sports moments of the year.
Okay, let's do that on Monday.
Okay.
Let's do that on Monday because this is technically the last week. Let's do that on Monday.
I wanted to get into it before the playoffs really start, and we're just talking about that.
100%. I tell you right now, okay, if I had to pick, let's do this. One game from this year. You want me to start? I got one ready to fire up.
I got two ready to fire, but I can't choose.
Okay, so the one I'm going to pick was Oklahoma's performance against Michigan earlier in the year. That was some physical football. John Mateer, everybody thought he was going to win the Heisman. Norman was rocking. If I could pick one game this year where I'm like, damn, that was a good football game and a good team win, the Oklahoma Sooners over the Michigan Wolverines.
Oh, we're talking about college football.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
I was thinking any game from any sport. I was about to take game 3 of the World Series.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, that would take it all. That World Series was hectic. I'm talking about college football.
Okay. It has to be just in this year?
This year of college football.
Ohio State winning the national championship.
Okay, yeah, that's this year.
That is in this calendar year. I got to go there. I got to see all of our boys that we've been friends with for the past 6 years or so, and seeing them after that game in the hotel, that was one of the most happiest moments of my life, even though I couldn't win it, sadly.
Speaking about our boys, Caden Curry was on fire in that Big Ten.
Animal.
That guy was on fire.
People shouldn't be surprised. He's had that motor since day one.
That's what makes him great is his motor. He just outmans everybody, outcompetes.
Did you see who a lot of those sacks were against?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Do you remember Zen?
Yeah, I do remember Zen.
A lot. I think 2 of them were against Zen.
I saw that. Zen was probably a little nervous to go against his former squad, man.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's been playing good. I'm pretty sure Indiana's up for the Joe Moore.
Yeah, no, he settled in. I noticed that early he struggled a little bit, but he did settle in. He did a nice job. So good for him. All right, Steele. I got nothing else, brother.
I got nothing.
All right.